You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 175.
So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us.
Hello, my love. Hope you had a good 4th. Hope you found some time to relax and maybe do some things that brought you some peace and quiet and connection to yourself. I don't think you guys know that's been going on with Jack and I. But back in October, we bought some land in Michigan. We've been wanting to buy some land that is near the water and on the sand. And we have been looking, I should more so say Jack has been looking. Honestly, he has been doing all of the exploration and talking with realtors literally for over 3 years. And we found vacant land. So the good news is we don't have to live in a house that needs rehabbing. The not so great news is we have to literally do everything from scratch. And although we know that we wanted to build something specific, something that is a haven for people without children, we don't need the 8 bedrooms with bunk beds and the whole 9 yards like a lot of the houses that you see along the beach. When you think of a beach house, we made a conscious decision that we were building this house for us, and we didn't want to have a lot of empty bedrooms and places for people to come maybe a couple times a year, but we wanted to be able to enjoy it as a couple who is childless and wants to enjoy their surroundings and do for themselves. So, why am I telling you this? And how does it connect to this week's episode? So, on Saturday, we went to the land. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes from our apartment in Chicago. And yes, we plan on staying in Chicago because Jack still has to be here in the city to see patients and run his dental practice. However, I left my corporate job almost a year ago. Hard to believe it's a year ago, to do my coaching full time and working with women to help them create a life they love without the children they dreamed of in my beautiful coaching practice. I can do it from anywhere. So this house is going to be a hybrid home for both of us. If you've listened to this podcast before, that this podcast is a space for women who spent years dreaming of motherhood, doing everything they could to make it happen, and now find themselves asking, so now what? Because week after week, I hear the same tender and honest words that I don't know how my life could ever feel as meaningful as I want it to be without being a mom. Or I'll hear people that I'm working with, early clients, early connectors with me telling me I can't imagine anything ever giving me the purpose I thought motherhood would. So if you are nodding along and you want to know that you are not alone in that thinking, welcome. When you leave your fertility clinic without a baby, it's so easy to believe that there is nothing else that will ever fill the space or measure up to a life you planned with motherhood and this life that is full of raising babies. And part of the reason it feels so final is because you likely have never seen or been given another example of what life looks like without children. You don't see many women who are childless after infertility living lives out loud and living lives that look rich and vibrant. And you don't hear stories about women waking up feeling proud of how they are existing in this life without children. So your brain does what brains do. It fills the blank in with this familiar story that you have been hearing for way too long, that if you can't be a mom, then your life will always feel less than. And because you don't often see evidence of anything different than that, you assume that that's just the way it must be. You assume that your path is always going to feel like a consolation prize. You assume that you'll always feel left behind and like you can't relate to the conversation. But I am here to tell you that just because you don't see the path, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because nobody handed you a roadmap, it does not mean that you cannot create one for yourself. So let me link this back to what I shared, that this week's going to be about a mound of sand, because this past weekend, we had an experience that brought this truth front and center. We drove up to our land in Michigan, which has nothing on it, not an outhouse, not a path, not a driveway, just literally a piece of land and a dream that we have for it. Long before we ever stood on this land that became ours in October, it took years of researching and years of saving money and hoping that one day we'd find the thing that we want. When we finally found it, it was everything that he had pictured. And here's the thing, even when you find the place you're meant to plant new dreams in, it doesn't mean the road there is going to be smooth. And we hit some major roadblocks these past couple of weeks, financial ones that feel really heavy and really unmovable. And this weekend, standing at this mound of sand that we found out is going to cost double the amount we thought it would to put a driveway to go the paved road out there to where our house is going to be and where the sand and the lake and the water and our dreams are going to lie. This weekend, Jack took his drone because he wanted to be able to like study the land, because he's a very pensive study research type person. And I could see there was so much frustration and so much disappointment because we can't afford to build the house that we thought we were going to build, the house that we put together on paper with an architect and an environmental person and all the things that you have to do. There is so much frustration that we feel like this was supposed to be our next chapter. And suddenly this chapter feels out of reach. This dream feels out of reach. Another thing that we thought we were going to have together feels out of reach and isn't going as planned. And we haven't even broke land yet. I mean, that's like the other thing. Like, I know building a house and all the construction is going to give us more woes, but here we are. We haven't started yet. And I couldn't help but think about how similar that felt to life after infertility. And you think this was supposed to be our season to build something beautiful. It was supposed to be where things just like came together. And now we are staring at this mound of sand that is literally so cost prohibitive to build a road over, and we don't know how to get around it. And thinking, like I did so many times during my fertility treatment, that maybe I'm just not the kind of woman who can get what she dreamed of. So when you're in this place and leaving fertility treatments without a child and not given any resources, your brain tries to protect you by offering thoughts like, it's too late. Nothing will ever be this meaningful. You don't know how to start over. Other people have found purpose, but you won't. You're not like them. The dreams that you had are bigger than their dreams. Like all these things that, because you don't see examples of anyone doing it differently, you just believe that it is not possible for you. You believe that the next 40 or 50 years of your life will never feel as purposeful as raising children would have. And you believe that there is no way to feel proud of a life that you did not choose, one that you never would have dreamed would be yours. And you believe that feeling stuck and disconnected is just your reality now. But none of that is true. And this is what I want you to hear, that your brain is offering you these stories because it has not been shown anything else. And that's why I started Thrive After Infertility, and why I started my coaching practice in 2021, because you see other women who experienced and felt exactly how you feel now, women who have learned to create lives that they love without children, and you start to realize that more is possible. for you too. So when Jack and I were standing on the street side of the mound that we need to get over to build the house of our dreams, I looked at him and I said, our dream is on the other side of this hill. We can't not figure it out. And I'm so emotional about it because I believe that so fully because we have already lived it. I have already seen what happens when you decide to create something beautiful, even when you have no idea how it's going to work. That's exactly what thriving after infertility looks like. It's learning to trust yourself, to figure it out, even when the next step is not obvious. It's practicing a skill of seeing possibility where your brain only wants to show you roadblocks and finding examples of other women who are living meaningful, purpose filled lives without children so that your brain can finally have proof that you can too. I sat there and I said, we are going to figure it out. We may have to modify. Things may end up looking different than we thought. The financial investment may be different than we thought it was going to be, or what we saved for, or what we thought was feasible for us. But I am not going to allow us to give up on this next dream. Because what I need you to hear, you, infertile girl who tried everything you could, you are not destined to live a smaller version of your life because motherhood did not happen. You can absolutely learn to build something more, something different. You can create a life that feels spacious and feels connected and feels satisfying without needing it to look like everybody else's. And just because the path to that life is not obvious, it doesn't mean it's not there. It means that you have not walked it yet. And sometimes you need to have someone in your corner, in your life, in your sphere, in your ears, on this podcast, wherever it is, social media, whatever, that can help you see the way forward. Someone who has been where you are, who knows what it's like to wonder if any of this is possible. And that I promise you it is. Because if you're ready to stop believing the story that nothing will ever feel as meaningful as motherhood, and you're ready to stop standing in front of your own mound of sand, wondering how you'll get to the other side, or telling yourself that there is no way to get up and over that mound of sand to where life feels the way that you want to feel about yourself, even though you couldn't have the children that you dreamed of, let's talk. I am ready to help you figure out where you are right now on this roadmap that you were not given, this one that you are going to have to start to create for yourself. I can help you figure out where you are right now. I can help you paint a picture of what you wish your life could feel like. And I can help you learn exactly how to start moving towards that vision, because you do not need to spend another year wondering if you're meant to feel stuck forever. There are way too many women who think people like me and the women who have gone through my Thrive After Infertility program just have something special that you don't have. And I am not going to allow you, at least while listening to this podcast, to believe that BS in your brain. There is a mound of sand that is in front of you. You are going to learn how to figure out how to get onto that other side of the mound of sand to live the dream life that you are destined to have. I will not let you believe that it is not available to you because your dream of motherhood didn't happen. That because you don't see the path, it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you don't know how to start, it doesn't mean you can't. Just because you don't have the proof that more is possible doesn't mean that you can't be the one to create what is possible for yourself. Your dreams are out there waiting for you. They may not include kids, they may not include motherhood, but they are out there. And I don't want you to believe that you can't figure this out. You can absolutely build a life you feel proud of, even if it looks nothing like the one you planned. On that other side is something waiting for you. And I just want you to know that I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week. Hey, if your ears perked up when you heard about Thrive After Infertility, the 12-week coaching program I created for women who are ready to create the life they love without the children they dreamed of, let's talk. This program is where everything starts to shift. You don't have to figure it out alone. You don't have to stay stuck or in a life that just feels like it's happening to you instead of for you. Take a peek at the show notes for the link to book your free 45-minute Thrive call. And in that call, we'll create a plan for you about what's next, about how you can create a life you love and start to thrive after infertility.